All right, guys, I'm gonna teach you guys how to get rid of that skinny fat look. Because look, I was there. I was in your shoes. To be honest, it was kind of like a weird stage because I wasn't fit, but I wasn't fat or overweight either. It was kind of like a middle ground. And it's very interesting because you could get stuck in that cycle. And I was stuck there for years until I changed a few things, which is, what I'm going to be going over today. So I'm going to help you go from that skinny fat, body into that Giga Chad look. All right. Skinny fat is weird because I remember I used to feel so insecure, but in a shirt, I would feel okay, because I looked somewhat skinny with the shirt on. Every time I would go to the beach and take that shirt off, though, it was a completely different story. I would have extremely low confidence. And I remember I would wear these kind of like tight shirts that you buy from like Young LA, Gym Sharks, these gym shirts that you buy, right? Um, and I remember I used to be so embarrassed to wear them because you could see my big ass belly popping out and my love handles would just be popping off, kind of like right here, kind of like that. And so here's some of the things that I did to help me get out of that cycle because you could get stuck there for years if you don't switch these things that I'm about to teach you. First things first, in my opinion, if you're skinny fat, you should not be bulking. You should not go for bulks. That's kind of one of my mistakes. I used to eat like shit. Used to eat a bunch of carbs, empty carbs essentially, like Doritos, Coke, anything that you can think of. I used to eat it, and because of that, that's why I got stuck there for so long. Because I fell into this lie of bulking when you're first starting out. In my opinion, you shouldn't be bulking if you're skinny fat. You should be able to. You should come down to like skinny range, and then work your way up from there. If that makes sense. So that perfectly segues into our first subject, which is going to be diet. I've said it many times before. What I'm going for now and what got me out of that skinny fat look was a high protein and low carb diet. I always like to keep things very simple. That's why I chose this diet because I don't have to count any calories. I can just eat a lot of protein and a low carb diet and I should be fine. Eventually I will lose all that fat, which I did, right? I'm not saying to go full keto mode. I'm not saying to cut out all carbs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying have some control over your carbs. Also, another slept on tip is that cut out as much as you can processed food. Because if you stop eating these processed food, you're gonna get less bloated. And so some of that fat or some of that skinny fat look may just be because you're super bloated from eating all that junk food. So once I stopped eating, again, I didn't get rid of it completely. I still have my cheat meals here and there. But once I reduced the amount of processed foods that I intaked, it completely reduced the fat that I had, in my opinion, or at least the bloatiness that I had. Because you may not lose fat, honestly, but it does give you a leaner look when you're less bloated. Same thing with your face. So when it came to lifting, lifting wasn't actually the issue. I would say 80% of it was the diet, but there was a few switches that I made to my lifting that actually helped me, get rid of the skinny fat look. So first of all, it was having active rest days. So what do I mean by that? Let's say let's say you work out throughout the weekdays, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends you like to have those days off, right? What you could do instead of sitting on your couch and jerking off is you could actually go outside, go for a walk, take some sun in, ground for a little bit, do some type of small physical activity that'll help you lose some calories or at least burn some calories. And those little calories are going to add up, eventually adding up to you losing all that fat, getting rid of that love handle right there. So when it comes to my workout sessions, what I do is I work out 5 days a week. So I go Monday through Friday. I just simply do Monday chest and back, Tuesday shoulders and arms, Wednesday legs, and then repeat the cycle. Thursday chest and back, and then Friday shoulders and arms. What I noticed though is that you do want to add in a cardio session in there. So I don't know if you can have maybe two workouts or just add it into that same workout as well. So at least have two cardio sessions of at least 30 minutes to an hour. It doesn't have to be too insane, but do add those in because that's going to make a huge difference. And once you combine that with a high protein, low carb diet, you're going to be losing fat super quick and you're going to be able to maintain a lot of the muscle. And then my last step when it comes to training is to progressive overload. So I know this may be something hard to do when you're a beginner, but try to track every workout, every exercise that you do. So if you're doing a lat pull down and you did it, you did 85 pounds for 10 reps, make sure that next workout you get at least 11 reps. Doing this is going to make sure that you're increasing your strength And by increasing your strength, you're going to build more muscle. By building more muscle, you're going to get rid of all that fat and start looking like a Giga Chad. All right? So lock in. So another super huge and important topic is recovery and the type of lifestyle that you want to have during this process of you going from skinny fat to Giga Chad. So first things first is your sleep. I cannot stress this enough, but sleep is super huge when it comes to getting muscle. So you want to make sure you're at least sleeping around 7 to 9 hours. When I was here, when I was in this stage, and the reason why I was stuck also was because I was sleeping at 3 a.m., waking up at 7, sleeping at random times, waking up at random times. That's just not going to work. You're sleeping 4 or 5 hours, you're not recovering, you're not letting your muscle recover, you're not letting your body, do its recovery. So what helped me actually fall asleep at least 7 hours, which is what I'm doing now, mostly, is setting up a schedule. So setting up a schedule from when I stop using my phone and I just go to sleep. And for me right now, that schedule is I go to sleep between 9 to 10. So by 9, I stop using my phone, or at least I get in bed by 9. And then like around 9:30, I just completely stop using my phone and then just try to fall asleep. And then I wake up at 5. And I've been doing this for the past like 34 days and I haven't missed a day. And the reason for that is because having a schedule actually aligns your circadian rhythm and helps you even get more deep sleep. Not only are you going to rest more, but you're also going to get a whole lot more deep sleep, which is the important sleep that you should be getting. Another thing, if you're a high performer like I am, I'm in a sales job. So working in sales can be very stressful. So something that helped me increase testosterone so I could build more muscle was lowering my stress. How can you do that? You could do that via meditation, breathing exercises, going out for a walk, or just sitting down like a monk, whatever works. Or what I would do also is try to breathe with your nose and get some nice deep breath in there. That'll lower your stress. Another thing that I did forget to mention: stop drinking your calories. That's the most dumbest shit you could ever do. Like if you're drinking a Coke with 140 calories, you're literally downing that like it's nothing. There's no solid food. You don't feel satiated after eating that or after drinking that. So stop drinking your calories. That's very important. And if you're truly tired of looking like this, I'm gonna go over the last few things that you should do. These are the most important ones. So number one is gonna be intermittent fasting. So don't eat in the morning. Try to eat like around 12 p.m. Don't eat anything in the morning. Just some coffee without sugar, and some water. That's it. That's all you're gonna take in the morning. And then at 12 p.m. you're gonna have your first meal. That's gonna make you lose weight instantly. Because if think about it, if you're used to eating breakfast every day, once you cut out breakfast, you're eating less calories automatically, which by then it's gonna mean that you're gonna lose weight. Another thing that I stopped doing also, when I would go out with my friends, I'm not much of a drinker, but I would get socially pressured into drinking. And recently I cut that out, and that actually helped me a lot. Helped me a lot getting rid of that bloatiness that I was talking about. So completely cut out alcohol. And man, if you're serious about the gym, it's like if you truly are serious about the gym and you truly care about your health and living long term, I want you to make a mindset shift, which I'm gonna explain now. So I'm sure you've had it, right? Like, friends that go to the gym. A lot of times when you ask them like, hey, why do you go to the gym? They'll tell you things like, I'm going to the gym so I can get more girls. Which, okay, that's pretty valid, right? But the truth is, man, that's a very kind of dumb way of looking at it. It's a very like close-minded way of looking at the gym. I could promise you that a couple years from now, that friend is not going to be hitting the gym. Because once he gets a girl, he's going to stop. So the shift that I want you to make, instead of going to the gym because of girls, go to the gym because you actually want to look better, feel healthy, and live longer. That's going to allow you to have a mindset that's there for the long term and not for the short term. So while your friends are quitting on the gym, you're still going to be going, you're still going to be consistent. And once you get to 80 years old, you're going to be moving like a 20-year-old. So when I was in this cycle, it felt like forever to get out. And that can be very tough for some, especially for beginners. But here's the good news. I don't want you to focus on the output. I want you to focus on your input. So on the actions that you take. So if you're going to the gym 5 times a week, you're at least doing 2 cardio sessions, you're having active rest days, you're eating a low-carb, high-protein diet, you're cutting out most of the processed food that you intake, you're cutting out alcohol, you get rid of that bloatiness, eventually you will see results. Look, I'm not going to stand here and say like, yeah, you're going to be able to make this transformation within 90 days. It's probably not going to happen. At least not for most people, unless you're a genetic phenom. It's going to take you a few months, and that's okay. You're delaying gratification. Just think about the long term. It's interesting because I see a lot of these, 30, 35, 40-year olds that are trying to get back into the gym. And it's so much harder for them because they didn't have that good foundation that they could have built in their younger age. So if you want to make it easier for your future self, start now. Start now, like today. Like after watching this, if you can't go to the gym, do a couple push-ups. I don't know, shuttle box, do something now. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to go over. Hopefully that helps you go from that skinny fat stage and get out of that cycle, because I know it's really hard. I've been there, and it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit of consistency. It takes a little bit of discipline to just stick to it. Stick again. Focus on the action, not the results. As long as you do that, you will eventually get to this stage right here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been doing this dieting series for 34 days now, where I've been, essentially dialing in my sleep, the diet that I'm doing, and the exercise. So far, this is how I started, and then this is how I'm looking right now. So make sure to follow, comment the word ready if you're ready to make a change, and I'll send you a link for a waiting list for one of my programs that I'm coming out to help you go from skinny fat to Giga Chad. Leave a like, don't forget to comment. Let's